COVID-19 crisis has forced multiplexes to shut down. The pandemic has led to huge losses which will only accumulate till theatres open. As a result, production houses have skipped the theatrical window and are now releasing them directly onto OTT platforms. Amazon Prime Video announced that it has acquired global streaming rights for 7 upcoming Indian movies in Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada on its platform between May and August. One of those movies, Ayushmann Khurrana and Amitabh Bachchan starrer Gulabo Sitabo, released recently on the platform. The decision of the makers to release the film on the OTT platform Amazon Prime has invited quite some flack from theatre owners. Meanwhile, producer JSK Satish Kumar has revealed that he is releasing 3 of his upcoming Tamil projects directly on OTT platforms soon. On this edition of The Big Picture, we will analyze the viability of movie releases on streaming platforms. Joining me on the program today are Komal Nata, trade analyst, Shujit Sarkar, film director and producer, and Karan Taurani, vice president, Elara Capital. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on this edition of The Big Picture. Shujit, I'd like to begin the program with you. First, let me try and understand and analyze, since your movie Gulabo Sitabo was released on the OTT platform Amazon Prime Video. Was it an easy decision to make, really, considering the kind of situation and the entire pandemic that we are going through?
Thank you so much, Rajya Sabha TV, for inviting me. Thank you. To answer your question, no, it was not that easy a decision. It can't be an easy decision because when we started making this film and conceiving this film, of course, it was a cinema release. It had to be a proper theater release. And we shot the film like that, and you know the process, what goes in making a cinema. Well, my release date first was November, and then it got pushed to January because of some technical reasons, some date issues, and then finally we decided 17th of April, and we were all set to release the film. And on 24th and 25th of March, I think something like that, the lockdown, I think, was announced. And I had a fair idea much before that because I was roaming around in Europe, and I had an idea that what's going on and what it can do, this pandemic. And when we crossed the 17th of April, I think that's when my antennas were up and I was thinking what to do. And also I have a very strong unreleased films past with me, which is a baggage, and it's a baggage. One of my films are not released. 2 of my films are not released, actually. One is produced and one is directed also. So you can understand the pressure that goes on in making a film to a director. So that's how this decision was made. Why not to see an option? Because at this moment we are seeing an uncertainty in when the theaters will open. And should I hold on and sit on to this film? And for how long should I sit on it? And film also has its shelf life or its freshness, you know. So I think all these factors came in my head, and I thought, anyway, at some point I had to experiment with digital medium. So why not to take this decision? And I spoke to everyone, with Mr. Bachchan and then Ayushmann, and then and thank my producer. Actually, the big decision was taken by Sheel Kumar and Ronnie Lahiri, who are my producers. And so this is where we are. And I have experimented with the digital medium, and it's just 3 days that the film is released. And let me just gauge the situation some time, see for a few more days how things go, and let me discuss with Amazon also. And I think I will have a fair amount of experience, possibly, what is the result and outcome of this decision.
Okay, it's still early days really to see what kind of an impact this particular decision has had, is what you're suggesting. Of course, we need to have some time before you see what kind of results it has had. Taking the discussion forward, Komal Nata, as far as, the film industry, as far as the movie industry is concerned, before we get to some of the aspects that Shujit has just raised, what kind of an impact has the pandemic had on the industry as a whole?
I think like every other industry, it has impacted the film industry in the same way. But probably the one industry to revive the last would be the cinema industry, and therefore the impact has the impact of the pandemic on the film industry is going to be much more, because once the lockdown is lifted all over India, cinemas will reopen only after that, and reopening of cinemas is only one part of the story. The other and the more important part is, when will the public start coming to the cinemas? And I don't see that happening too soon. One, because everybody is much poorer today. The rich are less richer and the poor are poorer now, because so many lakhs and crores of people are losing jobs. So many businesses are going to be shut down. And therefore, the disposable income at in their hands is going to be much lesser. Secondly, they will concentrate on essentials and bare necessities. After that come comfort. Cinema would be probably on the last, in the last, in the ladder of priority. So I think the industry has been impacted terribly, which is why producers like Shil Kumar, Ronnie Lahiri, and Shujit Sarkar must have taken the decision they took. And also, I feel that if a boat is sinking, and so it's the film industry is a boat, if it is sinking, and if 2 or 3 people can clutch at straws and make it to the shore, it is a good point, and probably reaching the shore, they will get help for the sinking ship. Probably they'll be able to save more people. So the OTT platforms have come in as a boon at the right time. Otherwise, imagine the monies of all the producers being locked in those unreleased films. And like Shujit said, Shu Biden, etc., his other films have been unreleased. I can understand the pressure he must have gone through. What if this film also doesn't release? Because you can't hold on to a film for eternity. And one doesn't know whether we are talking of 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, or probably 2 years. Because when will the audiences start coming in huge numbers? That is the question. Not when will audiences come to the cinemas. In huge numbers. That is more material. So I think we are very badly hit. The industry is very badly hit. And it may take years for the industry to revive.
Okay, all right. So, Karan, since the previous 2 panelists have suggested that this has been a decision that was taken because there was no other option, and they're looking at new avenues. Really, talking about avenues, what is the business model really as far as streaming platforms are concerned or OTT platforms are concerned?
Right. Just taking Mr. Komal Nahataji's conversation ahead from here on, affordability is one really big challenging factor. And we really don't know when the footfalls are going to come back into cinemas in a big way. So there are 2 reasons for this. One is definitely social distancing. So you'll obviously find 30% lower occupancy as compared to pre-COVID. Over and above that, there is this fear factor within people which could further hamper the occupancy and the footfall. So probably you could see 30-40% of occupancy of what you saw during pre-COVID. If you look at the global cinema chains currently in terms of Korea, China, wherever cinemas have opened, they've opened to very poor occupancy of 5-odd%. So don't expect any kind of big surprises in India once cinemas open. Now, in terms of business model, clearly, if you see, I think producers don't have a choice right now but to give their films to the OTTs if they are able to recover the cost and probably make some amount of markup. Now, traditionally, if you see this entire thing of movies coming directly on digital has been going on since almost 1.5 years now. After Jio launches first day first show, there's been a lot of speculation in terms of what is the future of cinema. But thankfully, in the last 1 year, there's been no impact whatsoever. No movie has ever gone on digital for the sole reason being cinemas were running as per normal occupancy and people were wanting to watch movie into cinema because there are no entertainment options in India today. So cinema is one of the biggest entertainment options in India, which people have today. But and obviously, one of the other reasons why cinema never went on OTT was the economics would not support. So when you have large films, which are budgets made of 120, 150 crore kind of numbers, I don't see OTT platforms giving them about 170, 180 crores, or even 150 crores for that matter. Because OTT platforms have got some amount of budgets which are there for movies. A large amount of their budgets are more skewed towards web series, which are more binge watching in nature. So, in my view, movie on an OTT is more of a hero content where, on a particular day, you may have, say, X number of million subscribers coming on streaming and watching a movie. But what about the other days? Which is why OTT wants more reusable content. They want more of web series, which people can watch time and again. And the only reason why they're paying good amount of premium today in today's time for these movies to come directly on digital, one is the visibility of the platform to go up, and the second big reason is they have no other choice. So all these shows of all your web series and all other shows content which is there, the shoots have been stalled across the country and globally as well. So that is the problem in terms of keeping your consumers alive and kicking on your OTT and offering them new content here and there. Because of no choice, they're doing this kind of a thing. And maybe this will prevail for another 3 to 6 months, in terms of giving more premium to the movie producers over and above the cost of production. But I think once the situation normalizes, sense will prevail, and these budgets on movie content per se will basically come down with time, and they will do their normal spending on web series and other content, which they've always been doing. So this is more of a near-term phenomena in terms of economics. I don't see this sustaining in the longer term, but you never know how far COVID takes you. You never know how long the cinemas will take for occupancy. So this might go on for, I see, longer than what we forecast, basically.
Okay, couple of aspects that I want to take forward. One, of course, is this really viable in the long term? And second, of course, the economics of it. Sujit, I'd like to take up the economics of it with you now. Considering that streaming platforms don't generate the kind of revenues that theatrical releases do, so is this going to change the way movies are made, movies are produced? Maybe, we're going to see leaner movies and not see the kind of budgets that we've seen in the past. Sujit, if you can hear me, the question is for you.
Oh, okay. All right. In terms of the economics that you asked me, yes. So I think it's quite evident from what everybody spoke actually is that situation at the moment was unpredictable. So we nobody knows. Even our life is unplanned at this moment. So you can understand. And secondly, what Komal also said, the spendings have reduced. We have also started living a life with minimalistic, expenses. So I think these all habits and attitudes are surely we have not by force, but I think by the situation itself we are imbibing now. I guess. So, of course, this will have a deep impact in the costings and the kind of films that you make after this, if this continues, and we have to take the protective measures. So, for example, I think pre-COVID budgets won't be absolutely active in the post-COVID shootings at all. I think even the cost of money, which was pre-COVID, I don't think that will have any sense in post-COVID. Give you a small example. If my producer Sheel Kumar, I think, spoke to Komal the other day, that if we would have holding this film Gulabo Sitabo for say another 3 months, we would have gone in minus. So you understand the pressures that the producers are also in at this moment. That's one. Secondly, what you said, that the productions needs to go on. The wheel of this machinery needs to move. Otherwise, at some point, we don't know what's going to be the next, because we are going to exhaust everything. We need to start shooting. We are exhausting all the contents. Some people are getting exhausted also, what I can feel. Of course, we have an enormous amount of content, but still people are looking. So an industry needs to churn out their whatever creative decisions that they're taken, and the people machinery. For example, my lower department technicians, the light boys, the lighting department, the camera assistants, the director assistants, the junior cast, the sport team. There's a huge amount of number of people who are waiting for a daily work, So I think, and all has to be utilized. Otherwise, for now, the industry and the association has taken care of them. For example, how Gulabo Sitabo helped me and my production house is that we were able to move on our machinery into our next film. So everything is active now, and we could pay up people, we could sign up our new fresh talent, and we are moving on to our next film. So I think this is going to be like this. But for example, the budget of the film, which was an X amount before pre-COVID, I think post-COVID, I think you won't be extravagant at all, and I think you will have to cut down your budgets in terms of your making, your actors' fees, your directors' fees, your producers' fees, everybody's fees. Like salaries are getting cut in a lot of private sector. So I think all that will come in place, and I have a feeling that it will be a right cost correction. Because our industry was actually, I feel it was the cost of production was really, there was unnecessary cost which was going on in the cost corrections and in the costs. And I think that will set us a good cost correction, course. That's what I feel.
Okay, we are heading towards a right cost correction, and you have to have closure on one project. Only then can you move to another project, is what you're suggesting. All right, Komal, since we're talking about economics, how viable is it really for movie releases to be undertaken on OTT platforms?
I think first and foremost, we must understand that this is a stopgap arrangement. It's not that this is going to be the future, because everybody foresees that cinemas will reopen, people will start going to cinemas, because visiting the cinema is not just for watching a film, it's an experience. And human beings are social animals. We are used to congregating at places, used to doing group activity. I may never meet the person sitting next to me in a cinema hall, but the very feel that I'm watching it with 400 more people, that itself is exhilarating and exciting. So I think we all are hopeful and quite confident that cinemas will reopen and will be crowded with people. The only question is when. Whether it will take 2 months or 2 years, one doesn't know. Ultimately, cinema is big screen entertainment. We watch films, even now we consume films on television screens, on our laptops, even on our mobile phones. But nothing can replicate the thrill of watching a film on the big screen, 70 screen entertainment or whichever cinema, whether it's a single screen cinema or the multiplexes. And it's not just because of the size of the screen, it is the entire experience of sitting in a group of people whom you may never meet, whom you don't know, and but enjoying together, that laughter together, that feeling of tugging at the heartstrings together, that itself gives such an adrenaline high that people will continue to make films for the big screen. And I don't see this formula of releasing a film first in the cinemas, followed by a gap of 8 weeks, and then either the satellite release or the OTT release. Yes, but what has changed after this and what will change after this pandemic is because people will get used to consuming films on the OTT platform. Now, there will be two kinds of films made. There will be producers who will be making films for the big screen and coming on the OTT platform after finishing the cinema route. And there will be films made specifically for the OTT platform. They are being made, but now with renewed vigor. There'll be an additional kind of cinema which is being made only and only for OTT platform. They will not even harbor the dreams of coming into the cinemas. But I would like to disagree with Shujit Da over here on one point. While I agree that even stars will have to take salary cuts, technicians will have to reduce their fees, etc., etc. So budgets will come down, but there will be a whole new section of a whole new kind of films that will be larger than life, that will be made with such huge budgets that they just won't be enjoyed, or it will not be possible for people to enjoy them on the small screen in the comforts of their homes, in the confines of their homes. Those films would lure the public back to the cinemas, and it may sound too preposterous, but I wouldn't be surprised if such films are funded by cinema chains, because it is the question of their livelihood now. If cinemas do not have playing programs, there's no sense in running those cinemas because they'll run to empty houses. And vertical integration is what multiplex chains like PVR and Inox will be forced to look at because they can't be dependent. Already, Inox, Siddharth Jain of Inox, issued a statement that when Shujit Sarkar and the others come with their next film, we'll teach them a lesson. Rather than teaching a lesson, what they need to really do some soul searching and get into production of films, and they will get into production of such large budget films that they will feed off their own production venture. That's what I think.
Right. Okay, all right. So, taking the discussion forward now, since we're talking about movies being released specifically for OTT platforms, Netflix has done many such movies, Karan. What has the response been to such kind of movies?
So the response has been very mixed in terms of movies going directly on digital. You may have some successes in the form of love stories. You may have some flops in the form of Drive, probably which did not do well despite the direct digital release. But that's the bigger problem here. So why I say that this trend is not sustainable in the longer term, one big reason is monitoring of success. So a producer will never get to know how successful his movie was, okay, or what kind of revenue it generated for the OTT platform. The second thing is, directly releasing movies on digital also caps your amount of collection. So hypothetically, if someone like some movie like a Kabir Singh or an Uri, if it was released directly on digital, it would have never surpassed the 250 crore kind of collection mark, and that really caps the amount of collection. So producers definitely have this in mind as well before they go directly on digital and before they release movie directly on digital, which is why pre-COVID you never saw more than one or two films going directly on digital. So I agree with Komalji's view here that there will be two types of movies will be made. One will be only for the digital experience, one will be for the cinema experience. And again, one more point to collate here as to why the cinema will never die out, because one big factor to watch out here is piracy. So I think piracy has been here for quite some time. And people are getting movies on their mobile phones, on their tablets, on TV, whatever, through torrents and things put together. But that's not hampered cinema business at all. In fact, if you look at the numbers, I think until March came in, I think FY20 was supposed to be one of the best years for Hindi box office collection overall basis. And historic high levels of collections have never been come in the last 10 years. So things were definitely moving extremely well for the cinema industry. It is COVID which has hampered them. And I mean, no one alone knows in terms of when COVID will actually go away, when the fear factor will go, and when people will come back into cinema in large numbers. Also, one advantage which cinema chains have here is, in terms of content, there is never any shortage of content being showcased into cinemas. India is such a big country. We have diverse, multiple languages. We have got regional films, which are a very, very big opportunity in the Indian market today. Though some of them might go for direct digital release, like, ZEE5 has showcased some, Amazon has showcased some regional cinema directly releasing on digital, but that won't hamper the cinema growth. So in terms of movies produced, in terms of numbers, we have close to 1,400 movies made every year, Hindi and regional put together. So it's quite a big market. I don't see cinema business dying out anytime soon. In fact, I have a structural view that, cinemas are here to stay, basically.
Okay, time to get concluding remarks from all my panelists now, starting first with you, Shujit Sarkar. I'm going to deviate a little bit, but I must take the liberty to ask you this question because these are challenging, unprecedented times. So what impact has the pandemic had on shooting of films, and what challenges do you see going forward?
First, I must agree with all the panelists that what they have spoken, I think they've spoken absolutely right. And I think it's a right platform also to discuss. Just to add to Komal and everyone here is that I have always said this, that this theaters and OTT platform, both are going to coexist. It's going to be a situation where both will be consumed. And both is here to stay. As Komal said, that cinematic experience is a cinematic experience. Gulabo Sitabo is one of the case. It was because of this situation that this was taken. It was not that we had planned for this at this moment. Otherwise, if there was no lockdown, we would have seen the film on 17th of April in the theaters. Okay, To answer the last, what you're asking about the difficulty in the shooting, it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy because there is a fear factor which is still running. And I think till the time we have the vaccine coming out and we have medical team on the set, which absolutely assures the hygiene factor. Because the WHO is giving us various reports now that it's now airborne, sometimes it's touchborne or whatever it is. So I think, and our industry is when we shoot, it's quite chaotic. I think you will know better also. When we shoot, it's chaotic, and it needs human interaction. It cannot be shot without human interaction, whether you have to for an art, for a camera, or for. So I think we'll have to take protection for sure. But I don't know, is that the easy way to shoot a film? Is it the free way to shoot a film? Even if two people are having a conversation in a close range. So I think it's going to be very difficult to see and try. It's going to be a trial and error process. I think we all are trying. I think your team is also trying. My team is also going to try this, and then see, is the shooting going to be easy or it's going to be difficult? But it's not, surely soon it's not going to be easy, as the guidelines are quite strong.
Okay, all right. Komal, what's the best way forward?
I think the guidelines are so stringent that it's almost impossible to shoot. Shooting here and there, off and on, or smaller projects, it's possible. You can't change the way you show intimacy. You can't change the way you show crowd scenes. Crowd scenes means crowd scenes. Intimacy means intimacy. Somebody needs to slap the villain, he needs to slap the villain. You can't say, I'll maintain social distance and slap you. You can't do that. A love-making scene has to be shown as a love-making scene. A 65-year-old actor can't report on the sets, but unfortunately, they have not said what about a 65-year-old camera person or a 65-year-old director. Now, surely an actor can't be more prone to contract the coronavirus than the director or the cameraman. And you can't change the script. If Amitabh Bachchan is in a film, you can't say midway through the film, Amitabh Bachchan has gone and a 64-year-old actor has come in his place. You can't do that. So I think these SOPs that have been released and by the association and this permission that has come from the government, it is a victory in inverted commas for the film industry. It's just a question of feeling happy that yes, the government has granted permission, but in practical terms, there is no shooting that can be held worth talking about. As I said, small instances here and there is okay. And you can't change your script midway through the film. You can't say, okay, now we will not have this scene and we will not have that scene. And so I think it will be some time before normal shooting is resumed. And like Shujitda very rightly said, I really don't know whether this is the right way of shooting, because we have all been used to shooting films in a particular way, and it requires large number of people. It requires personal interaction. You can't have an action director asking Salman Khan, let's rehearse. You stand there, I'll stand here. Two people are fighting, so he'll show it that, aap aise karenge, and then you'll give him a flip over like that. So how can you instruct him? A cameraman needs to come right close to your face to test the light, etc. So it's all feeling happy, but I don't think it's time to really feel happy. We need to wait and watch, even if that means 6 months of inactivity, because films should be made the way films are made. Otherwise, we will have, producers and directors will have completed films, but there will be no takers. People will say, ye kya film hai?
Right.
Aise to filmein humne dekhi nahi. You can't, with retrospective effect, change the way they consume cinema. So it is a tough time ahead.
Absolutely. And Karan, please close the show for us with your concluding remarks.
Yeah, so I agree with Shujitda and Komal ji as well, both, that definitely these are tough times ahead. In fact, there is a structural view that cinemas will remain here for a longer point of time. But I think there is almost 2 years of pain here, because a lot of the content shoots have got rejigged. A A lot of the dates have got rejected with the talent, rains have come in, the weather changes, monsoon. So all these things are going to really impact shoots in a very, very big way for the new films which will probably start shooting. You may have some respite, for some kind of ad shoots or for some kind of small TV shows or some kind of web series where VFX is used, and probably you can substantiate that with the shooting part with lesser number of people. But I think movies are something which involve exhaustive sets, and I think that cannot be done only with VFX. So problems will persist, I think, and current slate of movies, whichever are ready, are in talks of directly going on digital. So I think that will leave, in terms of the next year CY21, cinemas may even fall short of a content pipeline. So these are challenges which are going to come in for the next 2 years, and only time will tell basically where things are heading from here on. But definitely there's a 2 year of pain for cinema is what I see.
Okay, all right. On that note, then, I'll call it a wrap on this edition of The Big Picture. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. What's coming out of this discussion is that cinema is not dying a slow death, and it is going to make a big bounce back. It may take 6 months, it may take a year, but cinema is here to stay, is what the panelists are suggesting. And the OTT platform experiment is just a stopgap arrangement, is what they're suggesting. And the movie viewing is an experience best consumed in theaters, and we could possibly see some right cost correction as far as movie making is concerned in the days to come.